I was just packing for Thailand. As you can see on my how can you support such horrible bullies? How can you, such a sweet young girl, you know, associate yourself with them and stuff like that? And it just really frustrates me. I just wanted to put this out there to help you guys understand why I support Harley and Freelee and why I'm attending their event and why I hang out with them and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, I know that Harley and Freelee can have done things that might have offended you or that, you know, might make you think that they're not very nice people. Freelee as a bully. I've never thought of her in that light. I always just understand her message, where she's coming from, and how much she helps people. I think they're both awesome people, but maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know. After all, they are the reason that I'm vegan, and they are the reason that I'm on YouTube, and that for me is a huge thing, and I just want to kind of break it down a little bit. So first of all, Freelee. I started watching Freelee when just before I was vegan. Tim was kind of like, you know, trying to convince me or trying to just educate me on veganism, and he showed me Freelee's videos, and straight away I was like, wow. You mean I don't have to starve myself and I can look like her? Like, of course, that's like most people's reaction to her, which is why she's so effective, because unfortunately people only care about their aesthetics. So I think that it's an amazingly powerful thing, because you can convert people to an amazing lifestyle through aesthetics, and then they actually find the ethics later on, and they find, you know, compassion on and love, and that's exactly what happened for me. So I was just amazed by how, you know, she actually ate and she was still lean and healthy and fit. So I was just like, oh wow, I was so intrigued, and that is kind of what pushed me over the edge to going vegan, because I really want it was true, and even though sometimes how he went about it wasn't always the best way, I feel like he had a really good heart. And then I went to Thailand 3 years ago and met Harley. He was running Thai Fruit Festival by himself because Freelee couldn't make it, and that's when my whole persona of him really changed, because I saw him interact with others and I saw him run this festival single hand, and so much of his time to people. It was incredible. Up at 6:30, and from as soon as he was awake to as soon as he went to sleep, he was helping people, answering their questions, giving people advice, fixing their bikes, taking them to the market, giving them tours, just like non-stop. He would get asked the same questions every single day, and he never, he just always gave his time and always answered the questions, and I was just like so admirable. I was just like, man, this guy's legit. Like, he is actually gives a fuck, and he's like so kind. Like, he would stop traffic to pick up a spider and like put it across the road. Like, it was just crazy. And once I saw that side of him, I was just like, wow, he's a really good person. And he helped me out on so many different occasions where he would get absolutely nothing in return, like sitting next to me while we're riding up Doorstep, even though I'm like the slowest out of the bunch, or, you know, like giving me a hand with all my bike stuff, even though I didn't have to, and just little things like.
Here I am with the lovely Ness on YouTube. Check out her channel. I'm going to put a link in the description below. And this video I've been wanting to make for a long time. It was partially inspired by Mummy Tang and the mukbang queen. Yeah, I think I said it right this time. I talked to one of my Korean friends. And if you haven't seen the video, watch it. I'll put a link in the description below. Her channel's going amazing, and she actually gave us a shout out, and Durianrider Harley in particular, and that's what this video is about today. We want to talk about Durianrider, and I know there's a lot of you who are going to be like, oh my god, I don't want to talk about him. Oh my god, I hate him. I fucking hate him. Stop. Just chill out, relax. It's okay, all right? I know you might have your perception of what he is like, but you don't actually know him. If you hate him, you don't know him. That's basically it. If you hate him, you don't know him. So I've been in the presence of Harley for the last decade, basically. I've shared company with Harley for 10 years, which is a fucking amazing amount of time. And so if anyone knows him, I know him, okay? And I like to think of myself as someone who is a good judge of character, who is carved up, who is rational. So when I say someone is a good person, they're a fucking good person. I'm not going to waste 10 years of my life with someone who is like a scammer, an arsehole, a sociopath, a cunt, whatever you want to call him. I'm not going to spend my time with someone like that, right? So I just wanted to get that off my chest. And firstly, before we move forward, I want this to be a discussion between us, the three of us, basically. Okay, personal. I want it to be personal, so I'm going to turn off the comments because I don't want to see a lot of fucking like fighting and people who don't know Harley bashing Harley and stuff like that. And there's a lot of noise in the comments. There can be so much noise. So I'm turning them off for the first time in history, and we're going to see how that goes. So Harley Durianrider.
Harley Durianrider.
It's a big subject. Harley's a big subject, a big topic to cover. He's a very complex person, but at the same time, he's very simple in the way that his message and his heart is so fucking huge, and it's always about giving. We were talking about this, hey? Always about giving.
We had dinner last night with some friends, and we started talking about Harley, and it was just story after story after story of people telling their story of how he's helped them. And it was like
one person started, then the others is like domino.
It just kept on coming and coming, and it was like all these little stories that you never hear about, but all these ways that Harley has helped. If it's like cycling tips or information or whatever, he gives and doesn't expect anything back from these people at all.
Yeah, no, he's giving because he loves to fucking do it. The guy gets a high. We were talking about this also. It's like, I like to give. I like to give to people, but Harley's like next level. Okay, he gets this like shot of happiness, excitement when he gives, which is pretty fucking amazing. Like, he will get a fucking high of putting a piece of rubbish in the bin. How many people will get a high off that level of contribution? And also, with the whole, like, here's another story. So one of the stories from around the table was that, one of the guys couldn't believe this one particular ride took Harley so long. So he watched a video that Harley made of that day, and like, every fucking like half an hour, Harley is stopping to help like animals across the road. Like, not even animals, like insects. Helping insects, like there's a bug on the road and he helps the bug across the road. And he's not doing that to get some sort of kudos. Or like, oh my God, how amazing is Harley? That's super sweet. No, he just actually cares about the bug. And like, I remember the other day, we were coming up the mountain and there was a Thai guy who was broken down. And he didn't have anyone helping him. People were riding past. And Harley stopped, he fixed his bike, and the guy was like, thank you so much. And that is just a very average day in our life. It's a very average day. He takes his time out of the day all the time to help people. Like this morning, helping people fix their bike yet again. Hundreds, the thousands of people he's got onto bikes. As well, like us.
Countless. I probably wouldn't be riding if it wasn't for Harley.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember last year, he invited me into his home and welcomed me without expecting anything.
There wasn't any expectation. He's just like, hey, come, you wanted to like learn the whole YouTube thing and everything like that. And Harley's like, yeah, come on in.
Come on over.
Which is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing to do, like just to put yourself out there. I mean, like, when it comes to his approach, do we agree with everything Harley says or everything he does, or are we on board 100%? No, we're not. He can be stubborn as fuck. Yes, we know that. But we do, or I do, I speak for myself, I do 100% agree with his core message, which is giving, okay? Which is, trying to, putting himself out on a limb to help people like you, okay? To protect people, to warn people. Whenever you feel angry at Harley, like look beneath that surface, look beneath that anger and go, what more could this mean? What is he trying to achieve? What is beneath this, rather than just looking at that shell?
Yeah, just forget the swearing and just look at the meaning behind why he's doing that.
And the swearing is an interesting one. We were talking about the cultural thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Harley's from like a pretty rough place in Australia. Okay, like good old Adelaide. Good old ads. Like he's from a pretty rough place in Australia, and then within that rough place, he's from a rough place. So when you hear things like shit cunt, motherfucker, it's a cultural thing.
You have to understand it's like completely normal to speak like that in some parts
of Australia. It's completely normal.
And we were in the States a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you cannot
no.
You cannot say those things there. And so like you can be offended by it, but just
the meaning is different.
Yeah, the meaning is different, and understand that it's like it's totally acceptable for him in his group, in his area, or how he was brought up.
Yeah. Is he perfect? Is he a perfect human being? No, of course he's fucking not. Does he make mistakes? Of course he fucking does. Everybody does. You do too. Okay? You know, you have to remember that. No one is immune to the, you know, human emotions. Everybody's susceptible to human emotions. That's us. We experience those. Okay? So remember that when you want to grill Harley. Okay? And remember to dive deep beneath and go, what does this mean? What's this guy trying to do? Why is he so fucking passionate? Why? And you look beneath that passion, that hard, rough exterior, and you will find a massive heart just wanting to help. Very, very simple. It's a very, very simple thing.
It is simple, and hours on Tumblr.
Oh, so many hours.
Just like,
you should check out his Tumblr. It's Ask Durianrider. Like hours and hours and hours, thousands of comments, and I'm like, you know, it'll be 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm like, Harley, you got to come to bed. This is getting ridiculous. You got to look after yourself. And he's like, I've still got questions. I've got to answer these questions like a machine. So, I mean, how many people would you know who would take a spider, you know, come up to a spider and see a spider and go, that spider's dehydrated. It needs some water. I'm going to give it some water.
Not many people.
No, most people are like, stand on it or something, or kill it, spray it. Not Harley. He hydrates that spider. He observes that spider until it is feeling better. And that's what he does with people. You know, I have a million stories of how he's helped me, for sure. You know, like, he has pushed me to the point of me being going, I fucking hate you. But, you know, afterwards, after I've got the carbs in, the water in, I've looked back and thought, shit, he was right. You know, he was just trying to help. But because I was in that mental state of not being, you know, right, of like taking it personally. And a lot of people take him personally when they shouldn't be taking him personally. We were thinking about it that it would be great if you have been helped by Harley in some way. You know, if you've been helped by him, make a video and say, hey, Harley did this for me. Because I know there's thousands of you out there.
And you haven't heard those stories.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure a lot of people want to hear those stories, and it's easy to just roll over them and go, yeah, thanks, Harley. You spent hours with me. Thanks. Thanks a lot. And there's people who will become haters of him who's helped so much. And there's channels that will hate on him and shit like that. But at the end of the day, the guy has the heart of someone I have never met in my life. Honestly, the most giving person I've ever met in my life. And no matter, you know, what happens in the future or whatever between Harley and I will always say that, because he is super, super generous person. To a fault sometimes, where people are just like, I don't want your help, you know, just fuck off kind of thing. And he's still there. I will still help you. And, you know, he can be baited. And he can, you know, do things that maybe he didn't think about enough, or, you know, like that, you know, people will take advantage of his character. They will take advantage of him to further their own cause, okay, their own sort of agenda. So you have to remember that as well. He's only human, and he's a pretty fucking special human.
So I got a Tumblr question today, and I've been getting this question quite a bit actually, and I was just gonna do like a short little reply, but while I was replying, I got really heated and like really fucking into it. So I wrote like this really long paragraph reply, which I'll put in the description, but I just wanted to make a video about it as well because I feel like it's easier for me to explain myself more eloquently on video. So the question that I got was, why are you friends with, or like, why do you support Freelee and Harley when they're such assholes on social media, and just something to that extent about why do I support them. And I want to share my answer with you guys. And basically, I support them because they're incredible people. Just think about all the time that they devote to just putting out the vegan message and to spreading a message of, you know, abundance and eating enough and being fit and active and empowering yourself to live the life that you want. You know, although that their deliverance of that message can be controversial and you might not agree with it, we can all agree with that their intentions are good. Their intentions are, they want people to be vegan. They want people to eat enough and not restrict. They want people to love themselves. They want people to be active. They want people to live the life that they want to live, you know? That's a beautiful thing. They want people to live compassionately, to love animals. I mean, can anyone really disagree with that message? And also just all these people that are judging them. It's really unfair of you to judge them if you haven't met them in person, because social media is social media. Although it can be a very, very accurate depiction of someone's personality or their character, it can also be utilized in a way where you can put on a character to be a little bit more controversial, to be more, maybe in their opinion, effective at spreading the message. So sometimes they might put a character on so that they can hammer down the message in a more effective way in their opinion. And so you have to understand that that's not a representation of their character or their principles or their values. That's just in their opinion, the best way for them at the time to spread the message. And then, yeah, basically if you do meet them in person, you'll see what I mean. They're just genuine, hilarious, very down to earth, very giving people. I just have no idea, like the infinite amount of hours that they have just spent helping me, and I'm just one person. Like the amount of times that Harley's just like fixed my brakes for me, or like he adjusted my cleat pedal for me because I was having knee problems, and he was explaining, his stretching routine and all that, and just helping me out, and just in general teaching me how to not be a cycling noob. I've hammered them with so many questions, like literally a ridiculous amount of questions, and a lot of them are just like, tell me about your life, like because I'm just interested, and they never get annoyed. And I ask a lot of stupid questions like, why are my brakes squeaking? Is that normal? Because I just have no fucking idea about anything. But yeah, they're always so helpful. So Harley's just helped me out so much with bikes. And I remember we ran up Mount Lofty once, and he paced me up too, which was so kind of him. And he saw that my sneakers or my running shoes were just like not in a very good condition because I've just ruined them from being in New Zealand. And he was saying, like ultra running shoes are the best. And so I was, we had a potluck that night, and he was just Googling them for me, where I could buy them and stuff. And we just realized that they were all so expensive. So he did this bulk order of like so many ultra shoes for all the vegans in Adelaide. And if you wanted them, you could just ask him if he had your size, and you could buy them from him for like half the price than you normally would have. And like, that's just a random thing that he did. He spent like thousands of dollars on ordering all these shoes so that we could get them for cheap. And like, why did he do that? Was he gaining something from that? Did he need new shoes? No. Like, he gained nothing from it. He didn't make any profit from it. He was just helping us out. It's just out of the goodness of their heart. Like, they just give so much time and so much to other people. And freely, oh my goodness. It's just honestly like your girl next door. You're the most down-to-earth friend you're ever gonna have. She's so caring, and she's been like a little mama duck for me. Sort of like a big sister, just watching out for me, making sure that I'm not making irrational, stupid decisions with things like bike purchases or with interacting with other people, or just giving me so much life advice about everything. And I've been like just recently dealing with assholes in my life, and they're just big bullies basically, and she's been really helping me and making me realize that I should stick up for myself, and just giving me advice on how to deal with them and stuff, and offering to help me out heaps. And it's just so kind. And like when I got into my bike accident, her and Harley took my bike and like fixed it up and everything, and they kept it at their place, and then she dropped it off for me like in her car, and they also picked it up for me when I left it in the city, and just all these little things, and just spending hours just riding with her and talking to her and chatting about life, and her keeping me accountable for when I say like, oh, I'm gonna be a little bit more whole foods, and then I fucking eat like a donut, and she's like, what the fuck's that all about, Steph? And I'm like, She's just such a supportive, caring, amazing friend, and I'm so blessed to have her in my life, and so, so, so lucky to have them both. I really would not be the person that I am without them, like 100%. I would still be vegan, but I would not be high carb, I would not be cycling, and I would not be traveling. That's the truth, is I would still be in university right now. If I hadn't gone to the Thai Fruit Festival, I would never have gotten into my accident, and then I would never have had that moment of like, holy fuck, life is so short. You better get a move on and start doing what makes you happy right now, Steph. And then I would never have set out on my travels. I would never have met Griffin Biggie, so I would never have gone to New Zealand with them. I would never have met all the friends that I have made in Australia, because I met most of them in the fruit festival, and just, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't. Also, just eating in abundance. They're really the people that made me realize that you don't have to feel guilty about just eating to abundance and eating to satiation and just eating carbs, eating things that are so tasty and so sweet and so delicious, and not feeling like that's almost too good to be true. You don't have to drink juice. You don't have to eat kale salads. And that's what I've realized from watching them. I mean, I literally don't remember the last time I had a salad. Actually, no, that's a lie. I had some salad at the potluck, but I don't remember the last time I had a salad for a meal, at least. That's for sure. I wouldn't actually even be on YouTube. Yeah, because I started my YouTube account after watching them. So yeah, how incredible is that? That just two people can have such a massive impact on your life. I just really wanted to make that video just to say that, yeah, I fucking love them. I support them. They're my friends, and I'm proud of it. You know, they're incredible people. Why shouldn't we support them? Yeah, they might be controversial, and they might do things that you don't agree with, but that's just life. That's because they're human. You're not always going to agree with someone 100% of the time. And that's something that I had to realize too. Although we may idolize them, and although they might be huge inspirations to us, we can't put them up on a pedestal so high that we just can't even relate to them and see them as human beings anymore. The trouble that comes with idolizing someone and sort of seeing them as a god is that we then have this unfair expectation of them to be perfect. And then when they're not perfect, and when they do things that you might not agree with all the time, then you're like, oh, they're awful, they're flawed, but we have to remember that they're human beings. They're imperfect beings, and they are flawed. And we have to accept that and have some tolerance for them. Just like we'd have tolerance with other people in our lives and with ourselves. We're not fucking perfect. Like, I'm the farthest thing from perfect. All my friends are imperfect too. Everyone that I've ever run into is imperfect, and so are they. And we have to remember that. And we have to just applaud them for all the things that they are doing that we support, and then have tolerance with them when they do things that you don't always agree with. Because just think about all the people that they've brought to this lifestyle. I mean, even if you hate on them, I'm guessing that they have had a huge impact on you, whether you want to admit it or not. I'm guessing that they have really impacted your diet decisions and your attitude towards food and your sort of relationship with it. And that's what they're doing to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I mean, we just walk down the street and someone will stop Freelee and be like, oh, I watch you on YouTube, like, you're incredible, you're amazing. And, like, it happens multiple times in a day too. It's incredible, the reach that they're having and the amount of people that they're bringing to this lifestyle and to vegan. And yeah, okay, I think I'm rambling now, but yeah. So I'm gonna put that out there. I support Freelee and Harley. I do. And if you don't support them and you have an issue with me supporting them, then that's okay. I accept that. But I would just really ask yourself if you have unfair expectations of them, if you are idolizing them and expecting them to be perfect, and if you are dealing them the same tolerance that you're dealing with other people.